Yes, the 2024 election just concluded. However, the 2028 race is going to be so chaotic, so compact with candidates that it is never too early to talk about this 2028 race. So, first of all, as we all know, Donald Trump won the election, obviously. So, that already, just right off the bat, places JD Vance, the vice president elect. Now, he will be the vice president from 2024 to 2028, assuming Donald Trump doesn't die or resigns or anything like that, assuming Vance doesn't become president himself, he, will remain vice president for 4 years until, of course, 2029, after the 2028 election. And, again, right off the bat, it thrusts him into this position as the leader, as the next leader of the Republican Party, as the MAGA movement, maybe some would say, of course, as Donald Trump's vice president. Trump is term limited. He can't run for a third term, obviously, as of now. This is his second term. So it really pushes JD Vance into this prominent position to lead the Republican Party into the future. Right now, there is no doubt, just based off the facts that we have now, this could, of course, change as time goes on, but there is nothing to, object to the fact that JD Vance will be the Republican nominee in 2028. There is a very good chance of that happening. I mean, much more than any other candidate, at least. If Donald Trump's term, if it's at all not a complete failure, what I mean is, if it's successful, or even if it isn't successful and the administration ends unpopular, still JD Vance is in a good position to be the GOP nominee. Win the election, I don't know. We can talk about that in a bit. But there's no doubt in my mind as of now that JD Vance will not be the nominee. Other contenders, you got DeSantis, you got Glenn Youngkin, but this isn't like 2024. In 2024, you had candidates, just get their name out there, knowing that they're not going to win. You just had people run to get their name out there, and then put them in a national spotlight for the 2028 election, for future elections down the road. But a lot of these same candidates, what they did it once. You got 2028, the VP running again. Are they going to do the same thing, knowing that they're going to fail again? People like DeSantis, who failed last time, knowing that they're going to fail again against a powerful primary opponent like JD Vance or someone like Nikki Haley, would they want to run again? No, because that really would diminish their future. That's two losses. One is okay, gets your name out there, but two would be too much. It doesn't, won't get them donors for the next time around if they wanted to run in 2032, etc. So maybe you could see someone like Glenn Youngkin, or maybe someone like Nikki Haley, kind of do a one-off against JD Vance, right? This one-on-one contest. Someone probably from the more moderate side, like Youngkin. Really only if Trump is unpopular, if the administration is unpopular, that'd be the reality. But right now, I mean, almost no question, JD Vance will be the Republican nominee. As for the Democrats, this is a bit more complicated. Right off the bat, just thinking, about this primary, this Democratic primary, I get flashbacks to the 2020 primary because I think that it will very closely resemble the 2020 primary when you had literally dozens of candidates run. I mean, look at this list, all the way from the former vice president, Joe Biden, who would go on to win, obviously, this is 2020, remember, all the way down to nobodies like Deval Patrick, nobodies who made themselves into somebodies like Andrew Yang, or whatever, more nobodies like Joe Sestak, or random mayors like Wayne Messam, senators who dropped out early extremely unsuccessfully like Kirsten Gillibrand, John Hickenlooper, he was the governor, but whatever, and etc. So it was a wide range of candidates in 2020 because everyone had a shot. Now, my take is that it will be even more chaotic than 2020. Why? Because even in 2020, despite it really being an open contest, right? Everyone wanted to beat Trump. Everyone wanted to be the person to take on Trump. You still had a really clear, consensus on who the leader of the Democratic Party would be. That would be Joe Biden, the former vice president. In the early days of the 2020 race, meaning 2017, right? Maybe 2018. These super early days, Joe Biden led in national polls by more than 25-point margins in many polls. That means he was the clear leader. 2028 is not the same because, maybe you could say Kamala Harris would be. I don't even know if Kamala Harris would win the primary, to be honest. But the thing is, I doubt she even runs. That's what's, preventing her. I should say, preventing the Democratic Party from having a consensus candidate. So ultimately, considering that 2020 was this chaotic, even with such a clear party leader like Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders for that matter, you had two, opposite ends of the spectrum, but still two major party leaders, and it was still an extremely chaotic primary. I think that 2028 will resemble just that. And honestly, you had John Delaney be the first candidate to announce in the 2020 race. It was in July of 2017. Trump was inaugurated in January of 2017. So I don't know if people will go to this much of an extreme. 2016 was a different time, right? It was the whole resist thing. And this guy, Delaney, just announced first to get that media attention. So I don't know if it'll be as early as this absurd date of 2017, but it will start pretty soon. And that goes back to the fact that we're talking about this now, this election. Yes, Trump isn't president, but this election will start relatively soon. Democrats like to announce early. Um, especially with Trump. They like to object to Trump early. So, yeah, don't be too surprised if someone does announce in 2025 or maybe early 2026. Um, so this primary, who will run? Well, first of all, again, it's going to be chaotic, but Wikipedia gives us 5 candidates here. They're keeping it light. I don't think that Harris will run. I think that she knows she is a losing candidate, and I think that, there were reports. I read a book actually about the 2020 primary, and even some of, sources to the book who were inside the Harris campaign, even many people inside her campaign who was close to Harris's 2020 primary bid, of course, in the Democratic primary, they said her biggest fear was winning the nomination and losing to Trump in the general. So to see her now actually lose against Trump in a general, I think that she wouldn't want. I know it's not Trump, but JD Vance, same thing basically. I think that that fear would be extremely relevant to Kamala Harris once again, and she wouldn't want to risk it. For her party, especially. Now Newsom, I think runs. I don't think that there is any Democratic politician in this country who believes they should be president more than Gavin Newsom. I think that Gavin Newsom wants the presidency, has wanted the presidency, and is almost in a Hillary Clinton sort of a phase right now where he believes he, is kind of destined to become president, right? He should be president. The responsibility should fall to him. JB Pritzker, Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer. When we're talking about a primary more chaotic than 2020, yeah, you're gonna see people like Pritzker, Shapiro, Whitmer run. I think that Shapiro could be a formidable force. I really do, because you've got South Carolina, which goes first. We don't know all the candidates yet. Who, of course, African American voters dominate the first in the nation primary in South Carolina. Who they're attracted to, I don't know. I could very well see it be like Josh Shapiro. Going up to New Hampshire, I think that Josh Shapiro would probably crush the competition in New Hampshire. He also, of course, comes from the Northeast. That favorite son appeal does help. As for Whitmer, I don't think that she would win a primary. I mean, first and foremost, it will be a white man. That is for sure. After 2020, after 2024, after 2016, I think one thing is for certain, and it's that it will be a white male candidate. So someone like Wimmer, she could run, aim for the VP spot. That's very possible. But she loses it. So if I had to predict right now, the tickets. I really think that Whitmer would be a strong VP candidate as a woman. I don't think that the Democrats will maybe ever go again for a white male president and VP ticket. I really don't. But so of course, Whitmer being a woman balances that out. But if I had to predict right now, Republican ticket, I would go JD Vance, and this is hard to say. I would also probably say a woman. I feel like someone like JD Vance would go for a woman, potentially Nikki Haley. I think that Nikki Haley would be a very solid pick. With getting those moderate voters who'd be, a little fearful of JD Vance based off his past comments, if that matters. I don't know, just speculation. But initial prediction, Vance and Nikki Haley for the Republicans, and I would go with Shapiro and Whitmer for the Democrats. I think that Newsom will run, of course. I mean, this will be so close. This will be a very exciting primary. Democrats should be excited about this primary. It will be chaotic, but it'll be exciting. Meaning, Newsom, I feel like, would be leading by a few percentage points. It will be just so chaotic. But he will be leading a lot of the race before the primary season, that is. And then I could see Shapiro maybe getting a surprise win in South Carolina. I don't know. And then crushing it in New Hampshire and then just riding to the nomination after that. We'll see. It's all speculation. But I'm going with Shapiro Whitmer as the Democratic ticket. Again, this means nothing, complete speculation. But that's what I'm going with. Vance and Haley versus Shapiro and Whitmer. So thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe down below, and I will see you all later.